Increasing leads and sales is the what behind SHATTERPOINT, but the pillars are the how. Hello and welcome back for another episode. It's Michael Kassman back to share even more about the magic behind SHATTERPOINT conversions. Obviously on this show, we'll talk about the SHATTERPOINT philosophy and the paradigm that we discussed in episode 2, but we'll also take a look at some of the proven methods you can use to facilitate more conversions in your business. These methods that I'm talking about are called the Pillars of SHATTERPOINT. Increasing leads and sales is the what behind SHATTERPOINT, but the pillars are the how. And those pillars are 1. The principles of direct response, 2. Email marketing strategy, and 3. Conversion-focused copywriting. Now let's dig a little deeper into each of those, and I hope you'll see why I've chosen them as the pillars, but also why I've chosen them as special areas of expertise in my career. First off, let's talk about the principles of direct response. Direct response is a marketing strategy that is specifically geared towards eliciting a response from your audience. It's not to entertain, educate, please, or contribute to branding per se. The end-all be-all of direct response is to inspire the reader to do something in response to reading the copy. There is always a call to action in direct response marketing material. The only mission a direct response message has is to catch someone's attention, persuade them, and compel them to use that energy that you have developed through persuasion, compel them to use that energy and to direct it towards a specific action. That action would be some form of a conversion. Everything else in the ad is secondary to this one mission: to create action. Direct response marketing is defined by its deep roots in human buying psychology, persuasion methods, and painstaking data collection and tracking. Direct response marketers collect and evaluate customer data and use that data to fashion messages to meet the prospects exactly where they are on the customer journey. Infinite testing, isolating winners, and competing to find the top performers is part of the daily bread of direct response. At the end of the day, if you want to generate leads and sales with your advertising, direct response is the strategy you want to use. This is why I've trained in direct response since I began my career in copywriting. I've studied the greats and worked alongside modern day experts in the field. And because it's based in human psychology, which never changes, and because one of the bedrock fundamentals of direct response is measuring and collecting data, which has never been so sophisticated, direct response has never been more relevant in the world than it is today. The second pillar, email marketing strategy. As we discussed in episode 2, to meet your customer and be heard in the world today, you need a ubiquitous, constant, and consistent marketing message. Otherwise, you'll get lost in the noise. While by no means the only marketing medium you should have, email is easily the number 1 or number 2 medium, depending on who you talk to. Email is a powerful tool because many people consider their email inbox something personal and private. Much like a normal mailbox, people don't want other people rifling through the contents. Why? Because it's personal. And it's thanks to this personal nature of the email inbox that email marketing is such a powerful tool. But here are some more statistics. According to HubSpot, 99% of customers regularly check their email. That is every day. And it is by far the preferred way to receive updates from the brands that they follow. Another statistic, 73% of millennials prefer communications from businesses via email. And 59% of marketers say that email is their biggest source of return on investment when it comes to ad cost. And marketers who use segmented campaigns note as much as a 760% increase in revenue thanks to email marketing. Another reason email marketing is so powerful is because you can automate many of the email sequences that you need that have a direct impact on increasing revenue at little to no extra cost to you. It costs basically nothing to send an email, but if you employ the right autoresponders for your business, it's not uncommon to see an increase in revenue of 30% or even more. Businesses in every industry see these kinds of results all the time once they start investing in their email strategy. And look, it's not magic. It's not a hack. It's based on the simple reality that if you don't ask, you'll never get. Autoresponder email sequences are simply, this is an oversimplification, but for the sake of this discussion, let's say that autoresponders are essentially automatically triggered asking sequences, designed to intercept your leads when their behavior demonstrates that they're more likely to say yes to a conversion. Most businesses ignore these opportunities, and they're leaving untold amount of money on the table. Another perk of email over something like, let's say, social media ads, is that as you build your own list, you own the list. You control it. With something like Facebook, you're subject to the algorithm gods, to ad manipulation and surging advertising costs. One day you run an ad that absolutely crushes, and then the next day it bombs because of a change in the algorithm. Or Zuckerberg's minions figured out how much bank you were making on the ad, so they restrict the results until you start paying them more to get the results back up to where you want them to be. Compare that to having a good email list with great fans and a great product and great copywriting. One email will cost as much as the next, and as long as your fans are loyal to you and the copy is good, your emails will perform well. With the right email strategy, you can predictably increase revenue without writing a single email yourself. And if you know your stuff, you can write emails that generate money almost on demand. This is what the greats do. I've seen it in action. I've been through this process on the receiving end as a customer. I know it works because I've converted myself, and I've watched people create conversions in this fashion. So to close it out, email will play a central role in this show because if I had to choose one tool to bring about SHATTERPOINT conversions in my own ecosystem, it would be by building a list and leveraging email to engage, nurture, and convert my audience. Now on to pillar number 3, conversion-focused copywriting. Obviously on a show like SHATTERPOINT Conversions, a special focus on conversions isn't that surprising. It's my mission to use my talents to maximize conversions for those I help, but why focus on copywriting? Well, in the words of a colleague of mine, copywriting contains all of the essentials that you need to succeed in business. The ability to perform thorough market research, the ability to create an in-demand product, to craft an irresistible offer, to present it in a compelling way, to persuade the reader to convert, and to follow up with future upsells and cross-sells. These are all things that a copywriter has to do, especially if you are a freelance copywriter, which I was for nearly 2 years. You are forced to learn these business principles. And if you examine them, they're all skills that are present in the greatest copywriters. If you notice, once copywriters hit a certain caliber, they transition away from writing and more towards consulting, coaching, and mentoring, guess who? Business owners. Because the skills and experience of being a copywriter turned them into a talking, laughing business on legs. The skills of the copywriter are the skeleton of a self-contained business. It's really fascinating. But let's get a little more concrete. What is copywriting? Simply put, John E. Kennedy, who was a copywriter from the early 1900s, famously quipped that copywriting is salesmanship in print, which simply reaffirms the whole notion that copywriting contains all that you need to run a successful business, since sales is also a career unto itself. If you know how to sell, you'll always be in demand somewhere. You can create your own career by selling other people's products. And if copywriting is salesmanship in print, therefore, The conclusion is obvious. And by the way, if you're looking for sales training, either for yourself or members of your team, I've taken a number of great courses on the topic I'd be happy to recommend. If you're interested, fill out the recommendation request form you'll find in the description. I'll look over it, and if I know something that would be a good fit for you, I'll reach out and let you know. The same applies to copywriting. If you want to take your copywriting knowledge or skills to the next level, I'm a career copywriter. I've taken plenty of courses on that as well. Again, fill out the request form in the description. Now, back to where I was, salesmanship in print. That's what copywriting is at a very, very basic level. But there's another way that I like to think about it. So picture this. Imagine a Venn diagram. You know, the three overlapping circles that we all drew in middle school and high school. Imagine three transparent circles overlapping one another. One of those circles is labeled sales, the other marketing, and the last one is named mass communication. At the center of this image, you will see a curved triangle formed by all of their overlapping lines. That triangle is advertising. That is where copywriting lives. It's the tool that someone uses to create an advertisement. It's the weapon of choice when sales, marketing, and communication converge to promote an advertisement to more than one person at a time. Legendary copywriter John Carlton continued this idea when he said that every ad you create is like a little salesman that you send out into the world to fend for himself. You're not going to be there when someone receives it. You're not going to be able to make up for any of the details that you left out of the advertisement. You need to create an ad that has everything it needs to meet the prospect where they're at, dismantle their objections, and inspire them to convert. Copywriting is the mass communication of a sales message rooted in thorough market research. The beauty of this is that if you can sell one person on something, with copywriting, you can sell thousands of people on the same thing. But with great power comes great responsibility. There are many unknowns in copywriting compared to one-on-one sales. And that is why the key to maximizing conversions is to test, test, test. Now for a quick recap. The goal of this show is to help you increase your leads and sales with exquisite advertising. The underlying philosophy of this is the SHATTERPOINT paradigm. And the tools we'll use to accomplish our goal will be principles of direct response, email marketing strategy, and conversion-focused copywriting. There is so much to explore here, so please do stick around. But for now, I'm going to call it a wrap. And please like this episode and subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Join the free newsletter in the description below and check out the other goodies while you're there. There's a lot more on the way, so I hope you'll join me next time for more SHATTERPOINT conversions. That's all for now. Thank you and take care.